Hi, I'm Shivani Mehta, your resident research expert at MedSchoolCoach and author of the book Demystifying Research for Pre-Medical Students. I'm here to help you discuss all the ways you can find a lab and mentor at that lab. So let's get to it. This video will teach you how to find a research position. It is catered to students of all institutional backgrounds, large state school, small private school, community college, or even high school. We know it's hard to find a research position that is the right fit for you. If you're like me, the best advice you received was sending 50 cold emails to anyone on the university website and taking whatever position is offered. This advice is frustrating because it feels like a high-cost, low-return situation. Believe it or not, nearly every student before you can relate to this feeling of desperation. Consequently, most of them settle for whatever is available, resulting in a difficult and tedious research journey. We want to help you change this mindset so that the research lab you join is optimally enriching for you. So let's jump into 5 tips on how to find a research position that's the right fit. While sending emails is an effective way to get a research position, it can be done poorly or it can be done well. Here we want to provide you with tips on how to best reach out to professors. First, reframe your mindset. As young students, we often feel like we're at the bottom of the totem pole of a university system, and hence we sometimes wrongly feel that we're inconveniencing professors by asking them for their mentorship. This thought may be holding you back, and you should change it. As a student, you have the right to ask your educators in your institution for guidance. Believe it or not, almost every lab rests on the backbone of motivated students who are willing to volunteer their time and effort to the point where some labs would cease to function without them. In addition, most universities would benefit from their students engaging in research. So reframe your mindset. They need you as much as you need them. In fact, they often want you to reach out. Number 2, find inspiration. Ask yourself, what are your interests? And which of these interests can be connected to medicine? It's okay if you don't have an answer off the top of your head. Finding your research interest is an active process. The way you do it is to get engaged with activities on campus. Is someone giving a talk this evening about a new genetic discovery? Are you interested in taking a class on social justice and health? Did you read an article for a class that was really engaging? The way you know it's interesting to you is if you start feeling that itch to learn more. If you can't find it, keep reading, keep attending talks, stay engaged in your lectures. You may even set up a meeting with your professor for some inspiration. Keep a growing list of those topics that make you feel this way. But we have a caveat to this point. Make sure your interest is connected to medicine or human health and is somewhat of a broad topic. We know that some students have very niche interests, but we also want you to have lots of options for mentors. So finding a good balance between having a broad interest and good mentorship is really good for you. For example, if you have an interest in the TP53 gene for the treatment of brain cancer, you will be better off broadening your search to labs specialized in just brain cancer, or even more broad, brain or cancer. As a pre-med student, you are not expected to zone in on one specific disease. It's okay to explore bigger interests. Number 3, don't be afraid to network. Networking is an intimidating concept, but at its core, it's forming connections with people and sharing your interests. As long as you are respectful and professional, it's not a bad idea to reach out to anyone you know, even if they may not necessarily be in the research world. You never know if your high school teacher or your uncle knows a biologist researcher at a nearby university who would be willing to sit down with you. Some students believe that networking is somehow cheating the system, and those who utilize their networks this way often feel ashamed or guilty. In reality, networking is a fundamental part of building a professional career, and it is integral to forming professional relationships. Getting started early as an undergrad will only benefit you in both the short and long run. We understand that many students do not have a personal network to pull from before entering college, so we highly recommend using your school network. Once you start university, whether it's a big or small school, you will interact with professors who are conducting their own research. Even if professors' topics of interest doesn't catch your eye, it's not a bad idea to reach out. Each professor has their own network of friends and colleagues who may be able to help you. Hence, never be afraid to ask. Number 4, do background research. The next way that we want you to search for mentors is to do background research on prospective mentors you'd like to work with. It's a great idea to search for people online. However, instead of using a random approach, we believe our directed approach will be much more helpful. We recommend that based on your research interests, go to the department website, hit the faculty page. This will give you a list of faculty in the department along with their interests. Instead of emailing them immediately, we recommend to make a faculty tracker document. The tracker will have a column each for a name, their email, their research interests, and 1 to 3 papers they've written. This information will give you a framework of how to reach out. Also, it's a good way to keep track of whether you sent the email, if they replied, and prevent things like double emailing. This baseline method of organization will make the process much easier. If you're in high school, you can still engage in this process. Look at universities that are local to you that you could possibly visit. If you are in a small college that may not have an emphasis on research, it is completely okay to reach out to larger universities that once again are feasible for you geographically. Universities do not prohibit outside students from getting involved. In fact, they welcome it. So let's get to tip number 5. Send emails. Emails are an art because they should be short but still packed with information. The sooner you perfect emailing, the more efficient your life will become. Many young students believe that faculty don't reply to them because they're young and inexperienced in research, but actually, they don't get the replies because the emails are poorly written, and busy faculty will probably tell themselves, I'll reply to this later, and forget about it. When your email hits the main headlines of who you are while also acknowledging the professor's work, they are much more inclined to get back to you. Let's go over an example. Dear Dr. Smith, my name is Shivani and I'm a senior at Johns Hopkins University. I recently attended your talk on targeted therapy for lung cancer, and I was so interested in learning about the immune system and biochemistry. Your research aligns strongly with my passion for cancer treatments and translational research in biochemistry. I was wondering if you or any of your colleagues had any openings for undergrad students to help you on your projects. My previous work experiences include working as a medical assistant in a primary care clinic, volunteering at CHOP Hospital, and being president of a Science Olympiad team in high school. I have also attached my CV to this email. If you don't know of any openings, I would still love to meet with you and learn more about your work and career. Sincerely, Shivani. Notice how in this template, we have made the email equally about the PI as well as you. In the faculty tracker, we told you to keep links to their papers. This becomes helpful in the emailing stage. Make sure you read a summary of 1 or more papers. This will allow you to talk about that in the email as well, if let's say it wasn't a talk that you attended, but rather a paper that you read. Notice how in the end of the email, we also didn't give them space to ignore. We said we wanted to meet with them even if they don't have an opening. That's good networking right there. Now the receiver of the email knows that you took your time to write this out and you're not just sending impersonal emails in masses. Hopefully after sending these emails, 1 or more folks have replied to you. And if you didn't get any replies, it's totally okay to send a gentle reminder one time. So that's it on the 5 tips on how to find a good research position and a great mentor in that role. You got this.